able to travel. He wasn't included in the squad. What was the club's thinking behind making that decision at the time?
It's a different context. In that moment, Rasmus and Josh was playing in the same position. So we tried to manage all the things, even the expectations of the kids. So was that the context was completely different, and we chose the different players.
Jack Fletcher was added to the squad. Why hasn't he travelled out here?
Sorry?
Jack Fletcher, I believe he was added.
He didn't train with us, and he had a game before Fulham. We want some. Imagine Amas is today. Is here today. In the last game against Fulham, we want Amas also, but because he played all the game against Arsenal, he was not in our squad. We try to manage all the teams there and try to imagine the substitutions. And we know to bring some players is a big step, and we are taking care of the expectation of the kids.
Thank you.
Hi Ruben, it is quite a small squad and a relatively inexperienced squad in some parts. How much of a challenge is that for you, given how important the game is for you?
We have a lot of experience, and Matthijs is a young player, but he has a lot of experience, and we are ready because the good thing to play in Premier League, we are ready for everything. So it's a big challenge. We are going to face a very good team, really intense, with a lot of experience, international players. But we are ready because we face that teams every weekend.
Rob.
Hi Ruben, can I just ask about the two injured players, Harry Maguire and Manuel Ugarte? Are they long problems, or they're not going to be out for?
Small things. So we are being careful with because in this moment we cannot allow us to lose more players for a long time. So we are taking care of them in Carrington, and they cannot play this game because it will be a great risk.
Dave.
Hi Ruben. I think you said in your Sky interview yesterday, or whenever you did it, that you're building something bigger here than just winning a cup this season. But surely the here and now, this competition is vital for the future of the club, not least in terms of the financial aspect of it. It's worth up to maybe £100 million for the club if you go all the way and win this competition and get a Champions League place, but also in terms of attracting the very best players next season. So in that context, do you kind of understand or accept that it's so important for the club to win this competition?
That is clear. I think it's not the crucial thing for the future of the club. That is my view, and I'm here for 3 months, and I think that is clear. But I understand is a massive difference in our season, especially because we are out of the cups, in the bad position in the league. That could change a lot of things, even the way they see the coach. So I know that is a massive pressure. But I will say it again: Manchester United can have that can call all the best players even without Champions League in the future. We have to change a lot of things, and we're trying to do that. So I think that there is more important things than win cups in this moment. That is my feeling. But I understand that winning Europa League can change everything for us in the next season.
Hi Ruben, I know you've sort of addressed this, but was there any temptation to bring some of the academy players with you just in case you might need them in the match like this, or you just don't think that they're ready for this kind of occasion?
Again, I'm trying to, when I put the squad, I see the players that I have that train with us, and then I imagine the substitutions. That's why sometimes I call it 1 or 2, and then I'm trying to see if they train with us, and then I trying to see if they come here to play or to be on the bench for you guys to be like seeing a lot of youth. I'm trying to manage everything. I know that is a big step for them, and I'm trying to cope with everything. So when I do my squad, I trying to think in every aspect of the formation of a kid, our squad, and not what is going to look like really well with the fans and the media.
Hi Ruben. I just wonder, for the likes of Josh, Rasmus and Alejandro, what needs to happen either for them or the team to really unlock them in terms of their goal scoring and to get them, in better opportunities?
Sometimes there are things that is hard to explain. For example, before the last match, we had some games without opportunities and create chances, and that is impossible for them to score. So it's a team thing. But I felt like in the last game sometimes it's a luck. The way we kick the ball a little bit a meter more inside, we had opportunities to score. we didn't score. Sometimes it's really that's it. One thing is to create situations. We created in the last game, but in certain moments we need a little bit luck to score one, and then when you score one, you take out of the big pressure and you score 2 or 3 in the next games.
Matthijs, can I just ask you as well, how are you settling into life in Manchester, and how do you compare kind of the scrutiny and the pressure on the club and yourself compared to clubs you've been at, like Bayern Munich, Juventus, Ajax?
Yeah, I think I'm settling in really well. Obviously, I've been here now, what is it, maybe 6-7 months also. I think we have a really nice team, really nice group. Obviously, the season until now is not what we expected. So yeah, with that comes a lot of pressure, a lot of criticism, what is normal in football, I think. And yeah, for me, it's not different because I've been in clubs where you have to win the title every year. So that's not something different than before, but obviously being in the place where we are in the Premier League is quite different. But yeah, you have to keep going, you have to work hard and as a team improve, and then hopefully the results will come.
James.
Matthijs, just following on from that, obviously you've come in at a time where it's probably been the most turbulent season the club have had in the Premier League era. Has it been a bit of a shock to the system for you at times, having to cope with what the team's been through?
I wouldn't call it a shock. What I said, obviously, you would have expected it a little bit better, the way it is at the moment. But yeah, it's the Premier League where you're playing in, and the Premier League is, you can't be at 99% of the day because then you lose games against the teams that are in the Premier League. So obviously, until this season, in a lot of games we haven't been good enough. So we know that. We try to improve as a team, try to improve as an individual, what also is really important, I think. And then in the end, it has also sometimes a little bit to do with luck also, I think. But we all know that we have to improve and to become better. But I'm now talking about the Premier League, but I think tomorrow is another chance to show our worth in a European competition. Until now we haven't lost a game, so hopefully we can keep it that way and get a good result.
Martin.
Yeah, hi Matthijs. Just on that same topic, after Sunday, this looks like your best chance of being back in Europe next season. How important is that for the players to have European football?
Yeah, that's obviously that's the consequence. If you win the tournament, that's what you refer to. I think you go to the Champions League, but I think that's not our main goal at the moment. Our main goal is to win the game tomorrow, to get a good result. Watching it step by step, game after game. The Europa League is not a tournament where you can win without effort. So we know we have to fight tomorrow to put everything on the line to win the game, and that's our first concern for tomorrow. So we will be ready and hopefully get a good result tomorrow.
Okay, last two, Chris and Pete. Chris.
Yes, hi Ruben. In talking about the club's longer term goals these past few days, you've twice mentioned that you might not be part of it. Do you still have the self-belief that you can see this job through and turn the club around in the way that you hope?
Yes, what I mean is that we have to think as a club as a long project and not just solve things in this moment and try to. If you win the cup, we are in the bad position. If you won the Europa League, we'll be in amazing position in the next year because the problems continue here, even with the Champions League. So that's what I want to say, and I know that you guys make counts of my rescission, and so I'm just trying to show that I don't care, and I'm really confident on the big goal of this club. That's all. I'm trying to.
Ruben Amorim needs a radical Sir Alex Ferguson-style rebuild at Manchester United but has been given a far weaker hand than recent managers at Old Trafford. Curiously, no team bar Manchester City has won more trophies in the last 9 years than Manchester United, even though it's widely accepted that standards at Old Trafford have declined alarmingly. Between them, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and Erik ten Hag won 4 domestic cups and a Europa League. For Tottenham, Newcastle or Everton, it would represent a golden period, but not for United, languishing in the most prestigious competitions since Sir Alex Ferguson left in 2013. Today's FA Cup 5th round tie against Fulham is a head-scratcher for 40-year-old Ruben Amorim, who by his own admission looks older every time he glances at the mirror. Lose and there will be another pile-on, but paradoxically victory won't cause much celebration. Winning the Europa League with its entry into the Champions League is far more important, making Thursday's tie against Real Sociedad the priority. Historically, United's success has always been dependent on creating stars from the academy but also paying the biggest transfer fees for the best players. Sir Alex Ferguson broke the British transfer record several times on the likes of Roy Keane, Andy Cole and Rio Ferdinand. Mourinho's €89 million spend on Paul Pogba was a world record, and Solskjaer and Ten Hag were also able to pay big bucks. Manchester United's FA Cup tie against Fulham is a head-scratcher for Ruben Amorim. Lose and there will be another pile-on, but paradoxically victory won't cause much celebration. United are still alive in the Cup, but their priority will be the Europa League instead, yet Amorim doesn't have that luxury as he contemplates life in 14th position in the Premier League, 34 points behind leaders Liverpool. PSR restrictions and Ratcliffe's desire to cut costs means expensive new blood isn't an option without a fairy godmother first wanting to buy existing United players. The best homegrown players Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho may be sacrificed for financial governance rather than have a long career at Old Trafford like their predecessors. Amorim has a far weaker hand to rebuild United than Ferguson did from a similar low starting point. His immediate priority this summer is to try and exact some sort of cull to free up budget to bring in his players. Victor Lindelof, Johnny Evans, Tom Heaton and Christian Eriksen are out of contract, and Hell want Marcus Rashford, Antony, Jadon Sancho and Tyrell Malacia to finish loan spell strongly to create a market. Nearly everyone else at Old Trafford is available at the right price, headed by Rasmus Højlund and Casemiro. The anticipated upheaval requires diplomatic tact from Amorim at a club already reeling over staff redundancies and rising ticket prices. The charming Portuguese declares honesty is the best policy as he seeks radical change. Amorim needs a Sir Alex Ferguson-style rebuild but has been dealt a far weaker hand. Everybody understands that in football sometimes you stay, sometimes you have to move on, he explains. I like to be clear. I was a player once and used that experience. When you are honest with someone, they can take it. It is hard in the beginning but they will understand. I'm quite honest with my players and sometimes they know they have to move on at the end of the season. It's not about acting ruthless just to show strength, but when I feel something is going to harm the club, I am quite ruthless. I'm trying to make a balance. I see a clear path and I see it from the board also. They are doing difficult changes which aren't popular, but they are doing it because they have a vision. I knew the situation here taking the job. It was a risk, but we are surviving and doing everything. Today is really hard, I know, but this is going to help us in the future. I hope. We will see. By taking England under-19s defender Aidan Heaven and striker Chido Obi Martin from the Arsenal Academy, United are reaffirming their commitment to youth. Ideally, Amorim would also like to sprinkle some stardust to get United closer to their competitors. Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen, currently on loan to Galatasaray from Napoli, has been talked about. So too has PSG defender Nuno Mendes, as Amorim stays wedded to playing with wingbacks. He is United's youngest manager for more than half a century and concedes there is an element of learning on the job. We aren't winning enough games, so I don't feel like I am a better coach, he acknowledges. But I have lived here for 3 months and learned certain things. I am a more complete manager because sometimes you need to be in a poor situation to grow. I have felt during these 3 months I am not going to die if I lose 3 games in a row. I've learned to cope and maintain the energy.